Susan Odell. Welcome to the Foodell Kitchen. If you're going out shopping and you're buying beautiful fruits and vegetables all year long, you're going to want to keep them in your refrigerator or on your countertop and store them properly. That way you'll get the most out of their lifespan and you'll still be eating them when they taste good. Let's just talk about a general overview of some common fruits and vegetables. You really need to look at the document on Foodell.com that really goes fruit by fruit and vegetable by vegetable is how to store each one. But today, here's a quick overview. First of all, on sweet fruits, things like apples and bananas and pears and citrus fruits, almost always you want to keep those at room temperature on your countertop. Bananas will go black if you put them in the refrigerator, and some people like that because they're nice and cold. The peel will go black and the inside will stay pretty fresh, but it does have a lot of degradation of flavor. If you've got bananas out and they really start to go black, peel them and put them in the freezer. Just put your banana flesh in a baggie in the freezer. Use them for smoothies, and they're really delicious that way. Apples and pears and peaches and apricots and plums and all of these great seasonal type fruits, when you buy them, keep them on your countertop. If they get really too ripe, you can put them in the refrigerator and that'll extend the life for maybe a day or so. But by then the sugars have really started to accumulate and they've gotten really sweet, and you'll start to get a real degradation in the quality of the actual fruit. So try and buy what you can eat within a few days and leave them on your countertop. Apples, particularly, I should say, put off a lot of ethylene gas. All fruits and vegetables put off ethylene gas. It helps in the ripening process. But what happens if you have apples next to bananas, the ethylene from the apples will help to ripen your bananas maybe a little more quickly than you would like. So keep them separate. You can also buy a couple products in the store that help to absorb that ethylene gas that's given off by some of your fruits and vegetables. This is called a blue apple, BLU apple. And it's got a little package of goodies inside that absorbs that ethylene gas, slows down the ripening process, so it helps to add life to your fruits and vegetables. Citrus fruits, lemons, limes, oranges, etc. should always be kept at room temperature. Again, if they're starting to look a little sad and getting really soft, you can put them in the refrigerator and they'll last a couple of extra days. Or, better idea, slice them, juice them, and freeze the juice. Then you'll always have fresh lemon, lime, or orange juice at your disposal when you need it. And we talked about the sweet fruits, the savory fruits. What I like to think of as savory fruits are things like tomatoes and avocados and squashes and what else? Anything with seeds in it is really a fruit, not a vegetable, even though we kind of treat them like vegetables. So most of the savory fruits you can keep on the countertop also. Tomatoes there's a lot of discussion about what to do with tomatoes. They are better if they're kept at room temperature. If you put them in the refrigerator, they tend to get kind of a mealy texture and they're not as good. But if you find that they're getting too soft and overripe, if you put them in the refrigerator, they'll last another day or two. But typically, room temperature for tomatoes, avocados, and the like. Avocados, as soon as they start to get soft, in the fridge they go. Give it another day or two and then eat it to make some guacamole. The other thing that you will always keep at room temperature in a cool, dark place, these are roots. They like root cellars, but not many of us have root cellars anymore, honestly. So it's potatoes, dried potatoes, these dark skins, and dried onions with the papery skin. We've got some garlic here, garlic, potatoes, onions, sweet potatoes, gourds, anything with that really hard skin on the outside. You're going to keep it room temperature, preferably in a dark place to inhibit the continued ripening or the sprouting in the case of potatoes. Now let's talk about what goes in the refrigerator. I said most sweet fruits should stay on the countertop. The exception is berries, and they really lose a lot of their quality if they're kept at room temperature. They need to be gently handled and kept cool. I usually keep them, if I buy them in the little plastic bin, I keep them there. Don't wash them until you're ready to use them, or the water will start to degrade the quality also. Wash them right before you eat them. Also, you can freeze berries. If you've gone to the farmer's market and come home with lashings and lashings of berries, just put them on a tray and spread them out nice and evenly. If you freeze them just like that, then you can put them in a plastic bag and use them all winter long. Buy them at their freshest fresh, and then you'll enjoy them in mid-January. Don't those look great? Blue blackberries. For your more delicate lettuces and your herbs, you always want to keep those in the refrigerator. If you buy a big head of lettuce or some nice mixed greens and you give them a good wash, make sure they're very dry. Give them a good spin in your salad spinner, or certainly blot them well with a paper towel or a clean kitchen towel. Put them in the plastic bag and then put a damp paper towel inside with the greens. It helps keep the humidity high and it'll keep the greens fresher for longer. For herbs, because they're snipped, I like to keep their roots moist, same as you would for fresh flowers. I put a damp paper towel around the bottom of the stems, wrap it around tightly, make sure the paper towel stays damp, put the whole bunch of herbs in a little plastic bag and keep it in your refrigerator. They last quite a while doing it that way. For other vegetables, things like carrots or beets that come with their greens attached, it's always a good idea to buy them with the greens attached, but as soon as you get home, take those greens off. They leach moisture out from the vegetables, and you know they're fresh because you've bought them with the greens on. Now take the greens off and store them like that. Other things like fresh onions or radishes or cucumbers, peppers, those should all go in your refrigerator. Your refrigerator usually has a drawer for produce, and that's because it keeps the humidity high and it keeps them nice and moist and hopefully fresher for longer. Fruits and vegetables are best eaten as soon as they're picked. We can't always do that. We don't always have that luxury. Try and buy from your farmer's market or your local community-supported agriculture if possible, because you know that you're going to be eating it within a few days of when it's picked. If your food has traveled thousands of miles to get to your grocery store, you can guarantee that it's been picked at least a week in advance, probably closer to 2. So your degradation in flavor and color and texture and nutrients has already happened and is well on its way. Buy them as fresh as possible, buy as much as you can eat within just a couple of days, and go back and replenish. Bon appetit. Citrus fruits, apples, whoopsie,